In May of 2022, the FBI executed a search warrant on a Maine auction house. They weren't looking for drugs or classified documents. They were looking for a human scalp. The item they seized was listed as a Mescalero Apache scalp from 1899. For nearly 3 years, the investigation went quiet, but in March of this year, the FBI finally repatriated this human scalp to the Mescalero Apache Tribe in New Mexico. Indigenous remains being sold in 2022 as memorabilia. You might be thinking, that's a crazy story, but not really. Let me explain. The Apache scalp recovered exposes a horrific colonial history that most textbooks ignore. It's what some refer to as the business of killing Indians. Because those Apache remains aren't just a grim collectible, it's a historical receipt of an era where governments paid for indigenous body parts. There's a whole history of scalp bounties that go all the way back to the 1600s. The first scalp proclamation is put out by the Dutch in the 1640s, and there would be many more to follow. And let me be clear, the taking of indigenous scalps for profit is purely a colonial invention. Now, these Apache remains that they found carry with it a dark and sinister history. In 1837, Mexican officials from Sonora and Chihuahua started offering bounties for dead Apaches. This created teams of mercenaries or death squads who hunted indigenous people for profit. We're talking about men like John Johnson and James Kirker who were celebrated for hunting and killing Apaches. And these sociopaths had no qualms about murdering indigenous women and children. And there were others like John Joel Glanton, who was a rapist and a murderer who hunted indigenous people for fun and for sport. And when he couldn't find Apaches to kill, he would kill Mexicans because you couldn't tell the difference between a Mexican scalp and an Apache scalp. His killing spree finally came to an end when a band of Yuma Indians finally caught up to him. They not only ended his life, but they took his scalp. Frontier justice. In California, these death squads helped reduce the indigenous population by 90%. And to this day, there are thousands of indigenous remains in universities, museums, and private collections. The repatriation of these Apache remains is definitely a victory, but it's also physical evidence of settler-funded extermination. Whether you want to call it bounty hunting, warfare, history has a different name for it. It's called genocide.